Hi, this is Miriam from Miriam's Crafting Supplies, and today I'm going to be doing a video on turning a card sketch into a card. I'm using this sketch that I found on creativelyyours.wordpress.com, and I will put that link in my description. I'm going to start out with some cardstock here. This is Stampin' Up! Cardstock that I'm going to be using my cutter to cut in half this way. This will make it the right size for an A2 card. So you cut the longer side at 5.5 inches, and I've actually put a little notch on my 5.5 inch spot on my cutter because I find that very helpful when I'm trying to make an A2 card. I make a lot of them. That's the size I prefer because it doesn't waste any paper. You can get exactly 2 cards out of 1 piece of cardstock, and it works well for me. It's easy to find envelopes for, etc., etc. So, folding the card, I line up the corners and crease it. So now I have a nicely folded card. Now, I'm going to do this now. It can be done at any point. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to be taking this piece of cardstock and cutting it at 5 inches. So that it can go on the inside. Since this is kind of a dark color, I want the inside to be lined with white to make it easier to write inside of it. So the card is 5.5 inches tall by 4.25 inches wide. So I cut it at 5 inches, and then I want to cut it at 3.5 inches so that it will be the same amount of space on the top and the bottom inside the card. So you can see it centers nicely. And then I'm going to use my ATG dispenser, and this is 3/8 inch tape. I really like that size tape. I find 1/4 inch tape to be fairly small and the 1/2 inch to be a bit big. So I like the 3/8 inch tape, which you can find in the shop. Try to go as close to the edge as possible, and I try to keep it as level as possible, because if you hold it up too high, it tends to get all bunched up. So I'm just going to put that in there. I need to sharpen my blade. My edges are kind of fraying, so. And there we go. A nice inside to the card. Now we'll work on the outside. That's the fun part. For the 3 background stripes, 2 of them I'm going to do with a 1-inch strip of orange burlap that I cut off of a 12-inch square that we have in the shop. So I've got my scissors. I'm going to figure out about how long I want it. And the easiest way to cut burlap and make it nice and even is to find where you want, how long you want it, and pull out one of the strings. And you've got a nice place to show you exactly where to cut it. Cut it along there. So I've got 1 strip. And then I'll use this as a reference so that the next strip will be the same size, approximately. Again, I'll pull that string out, maybe, and cut it. So now I have 2 nice strips of burlap that are the right size for the card. I'm going to kind of pull out the edges a little bit on each side to kind of give it some texture. So I've got some nice texture to give it a little added dimension. And on these, I find that ATG tape basically works paper to paper and that's it. So on these I'm going to use my Glossy Accents as an adhesive. Maybe. Of course it's all dried up in there. Alright, well, Maggie, can you go use a pin or something to get the inside of that out? Let's just try the ATG tape, see what happens. It's kind of hard to get it on there. So, I've got one piece. I'll just put that near the top. Got another piece. Put that right in the middle. And then I have this set of embellishments from Recollections. And I am going to use, oh, actually that's too long. So instead of using this one, which was, I'll just cut the end off of it. Make it the right size. Oh, these things are so much fun to work with. Alright. So, well, one good thing about having used ATG tape on the burlap is that I can pull it back up again, because that is not enough space for the final embellishment. So I'm going to push this up a bit. And then, let's do it this way. I can hang that off the edge a little bit. Make it fit nicely. Alright, so there are the base embellishments that are the 3 stripes on the card. Next, we have the sentiment. This I printed out from a digital stamp from birdscards.com, a Thinking of You sentiment. And when I do a digital stamp, in order to cut it nice and evenly, what I like to do is line up the top of the ink with the opening on the cutter and then cut it. And I do that for each side. Move the writing until it's right on the edge and I can just see the writing sticking out underneath that hole there. Turn it around to each side and there, you can see it poking through. And last side, right on the edge. And now I have a nice evenly cut sentiment, which I will put my ATG tape on. And put it right here as the sketch shows. So the sentiment that is over the middle strip I have on there. Now for the bottom corner where it has 3 items, instead of butterflies, since I want to have a fall theme, I have pumpkins that I have die cut from the Martha Stewart seasonal cake cricket cart. And I've made some a little bit larger and some a little bit smaller. And I'm going to take this Versamagic ink pad in gingerbread. I'm going to make the stems brown. And I'm going to ink the edges. Add some nice dimension to it. Sorry about the coughing, my daughter's not feeling well. I'm going to do that for all three of them. And I have embossed them with this Cuttlebug embossing folder. I think it's Wavy Swirls or something along those lines. So I can also kind of just drag it over the top of the ink pad. And if I have a light enough touch, it'll just get the embossed, raised up parts of it. Not terribly good at that, but gives it some nice dimension. So you can see the difference before inked and inked. Gives it a bit more character and dimension. Oh, now the baby's farting. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to cluster them on the edge like you see it clustered in the picture there. I'm going to go over the edge of the sentiment. Get a couple different sizes. So you can see on the different parts of the sketch, there's 3 things in several different places. Because, I don't know why, it just always seems to work out that 3 of something looks really good. I'm personally an even number sort of person, but even I really prefer when there's 3 of something. It looks really good that way. So kind of figure out exactly where you want it. It's another great thing about ATG tape. You can put it on and then still have time to kind of figure out exactly where you want to put something. So there's my cluster of 3 pumpkins in the bottom corner of the card. Now for the other embellishments. You can see on the sketch that it has an embellishment over here, and then 3 small embellishments on either side of the top there. And it also has a strip in the middle. I wonder if I should use this. Yeah, I think that would look good. I'll use this strip as well from the Recollections set. Have it going down the middle. That's why sketches are really, really great, because that adds a lot to the card. Just get those edges that don't fit right off of there. Looks great, and I probably wouldn't have thought of doing that on my own. I'm a less is more type of person. So now, the last part is the embellishments. I have 2 small bronze metal embellishments, an acrylic ribbon slider, and some pearls. The color of these pearls is mocha, and I have them in 5mm, 7mm, and the 10mm one fits right in the center of the acrylic. So still not working. Sorry about this. Let me just try some ATG tape on there as well. Not the best for it, but it will work. So just put some tape, or if you had the glue that works, you could put glue on that inner bar, and then the pearl sits right in the middle there and looks quite nice. Now I will put some more ATG tape on the back of these. When I want to use the ATG tape but I don't have paper to put it directly on, I kind of push the button down, turn it, and then I can just take it right off of there, and you've got adhesive that you can put anywhere you like. So I will crumple it up there, put it all over the back, and this goes, check my thing,